Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome to the first day of Star Wars Celebration, day one, and they dropped a lot on us, and I wanted to go over the biggest announcements of the day, even though technically as I'm filming, the day is like basically just getting started, but oh my gosh, we got a lot dropped up on us, and I want to start with Andor. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian, we're going to talk about the new Jon Watts series, and a couple of other things, but let's kick it off with Andor because we finally got a trailer for that. It's like, it's coming out this year. We would love to see some footage. Show me the baby. And it was revealed that by the showrunner, by Tony Gilroy, that we are going 5 years back from Rogue One, right? We're looking at Cassian Andor's life just before he becomes a spy, or just as he's becoming a spy, as the Empire is coming into power. And even Diego Luna himself said, "You're not going to recognize Cassian Andor in the beginning. I cannot wait for you to meet him." Now, to be fair, it's been so long since we've seen Rogue One, and we've only gotten Cassian Andor in one film. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be pretty unrecognizable, that's for sure. But, I'm taking it for face value. And the biggest news, hey, the series is premiering on August the 31st. And not just that, but we're getting 2 episodes released on that day, so that's really cool. And not only that, but we also got a pretty spiffy poster for Andor. It's looking really cool, kind of like a Join the Resistance poster. So let's just hop over to the trailer because I want to break it down a little bit, talk about it, and overall I just thought it looked great. I mean, I love the vibe that this is giving. It's kind of how the Marvel Studios shows have all had different kind of feels to them, sort of different genres, different, all that stuff. This also feels like that. The Mandalorian felt kind of very cinematic, but compared to the Book of Boba Fett, it was pretty much the same. We'll see if Obi-Wan Kenobi is, thematically different from the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, but this for sure, judging by the trailers, looks like it's within its own little field. So just in these first couple of clips, we kind of see what it's like to be in Cassian Andor's village. It's kind of like, the Mandalorian season 1 when he went to go visit, I believe, Omera, or that's who he met, and they had to defend that village. So it's kind of like this, we don't know a lot about their village just yet, but it looks like if the Empire were to come, they would need a lot of help. And then I think what's fascinating here is that you've got these group of people who are in a sterile environment, kind of looking like they are within the confines of the Empire, but they are not specifically loyal to the Empire themselves. You can see they look absolutely terrified, even though they're working. It looks like they don't want to be there. And then as well, they kind of show up again here. I don't know if those are like prisoner cells or something like that, but then you see them in their uniforms marching, and you've got rows and rows of them. So it makes me wonder, the Empire, they've recruited people, right? They've recruited stormtroopers. We've known that those were actual people. Yeah, they weren't clones, right? Why am I debating the lore in my head? But, right, we know that they recruited humans for stormtroopers. They got rid of the clones. It's kind of what the Bad Batch was all about. And then, okay, though that's one, group of people that they've taken. But now it also looks like they're taking these, I don't know, like enslaving people from other places and forcing them to work for the Empire against their will. That really sucks. And I mean, we also saw that in Rogue One with Galen Erso, right? The Empire kind of took him, they did take him against his will. He was a very great, renowned scientist, and they forced him to, come up with the Death Star, essentially. And, he didn't want to, so he put in a little failsafe, like, if you ever so happen to want to take down the man, boy, do I have the plans for you. But overall, I just like the way that the Empire is portrayed in this. I mean, look at that. Very, I was saying sterile, very stoic, kind of like the elite, just ruling class. Like, they have no regard for the common man like this, and it's really scary. It almost kind of seems dystopian, and I know people always get into the debate about Star Wars being sci-fi versus fantasy, and really it's just like, no, Star Wars is Star Wars, but this almost the kind of glossier scenes makes it seem a little sci-fi like, which I don't mind. Specifically something even like this, you know, where you've got this high council and all that. It also reminds me of Hunger Games, right? This whole dystopian notion of, you know, these evil overlords coming and destroying everything. Or like, you know, if you just copied Grand Moff Tarkin 100 times and now that's your crew. And then thinking more about the futuristic kind of sci-fi like angle to this, seeing Mon Mothma just looks awesome. It's like almost reminding me of Westworld, kind of how they looked in season 3, and seeing this scene, it just looks so, I'm really, really amazed, guys. And then here, I saw this scene, I had to point this out. Looks like Galactic Senate, doesn't it? Which is funny because I was like, well, no, there would be no Galactic Senate because, you know, I am the Senate, and then he destroys it, and, you know, Palpatine builds an empire. So it makes me wonder what they're doing back in that room. It actually doesn't look like anyone is there, so we could be returning to Coruscant, just, you know, Mon Mothma being like, you know, so democracy has died or something like that. I don't know, but it looks cool just to be there and to be in that room and to revisit some prequel stuff. And then I gotta throw it to the hardest working Skarsgård. It's good to see Stellan Skarsgård in this as well. So there looks like a lot of good stuff coming in the Andor series. And this is just the teaser trailer, so we're gonna get a lot more whenever that official trailer comes out, and definitely within the next, let's see, June, July, maybe by August, you know, we'll get the full trailer, or by July at least. That'd be really exciting to see what happens. So in addition, we did get some more Star Wars Disney Plus news, specifically with The Mandalorian Season 3. A little bit of Ahsoka. The big Ahsoka announcement was just the confirmation that it's coming in 2023. There was really nothing more to that. But we did get a big confirmation that The Mandalorian Season 3 is coming in February 2023. So some of us were hoping that it was going to come, you know, at the end of this year, but I think we've got a packed Star Wars lineup between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor, and, you know, just finishing the Book of Boba Fett kind of, you know, coming into this year, and the Bad Batch Season 2. So I think that's plenty, and I'm fine with having both The Mandalorian and Ahsoka coming out. So that means, you know, we'll get The Mandalorian Season 3, and then something will happen, and then it will tie into the Ahsoka series. So I think that's pretty cool. And we also get a little bit of a teaser poster for The Mandalorian. I mean, you know, all we've got here is Mando and Grogu, and of course we know from the Book of Boba Fett, you had to watch the Book of Boba Fett, that Grogu chose to be with Din Djarin instead of Luke Skywalker. So whatever happens next is anyone's guess, except I take that back, because Katie Sackhoff is confirmed to return to The Mandalorian Season 3, playing Bo-Katan. So guess what? They did quote, Star Wars didn't attribute this quote, which I'm a little upset, but I believe it's from Katie. She said, "We're going to Mandalore so that I can be forgiven for my transgressions." So we are. This is going to be awesome to see live action Mandalore and what's happened. And I'm not all completely brushed up on my Mandalore lore. I know there's stuff that you gotta read, and maybe a comic, and stuff that you gotta read here and there, and watching the Clone Wars. All I know is, you know, I left off on the Clone Wars Season 7 right when Maul tried to take over and he failed, and so whatever happened between then and the Empire, I haven't a clue, but I think it's going to be really exciting to explore, okay, who's going to rule Mandalore? You know, Din still has the Darksaber. He's kind of grown attached to it, and, you know, Bo-Katan wants to kind of reclaim her family lineage and her claim to the throne and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a little heated. I don't know why it took them this long to confirm Katie Sackhoff would be returning in the first place, but I'm ready. Okay, cutting in, because just like maybe 40 minutes after I filmed this, the teaser trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3 that was showed at Star Wars Celebration was leaked online. Now, please don't tell Lucasfilm. Please don't tell anyone at Star Wars. I love them. I'm sorry, but this kind of stuff happens now. I'm not going to show you the footage. You're smart. You can go find it yourself, but I will discuss some of the things that I saw in there. Specifically, the line that I just told you about is actually uttered by Mando himself, talking about going to Mandalore, to kind of forgive his transgressions or whatever. And essentially from this teaser trailer, we see a kind of upset or almost vengeful Bo-Katan, because she's wondering, where was the Mandalorian's cult when the Great Purge of Mandalore took place? And so, what does he have to answer for that? That's not really for him to answer, right? He was a foundling and all that stuff, but it seems like Bo-Katan is a little upset, but they might reconcile their differences because we are going to Mandalore. And from this teaser, we've got Grief Karga. He's back and looking better than ever. We even have the doctor who was working with the client. So we might get some more stuff about presumably the midichlorians and maybe this whole underlying thing about potentially trying to, clone Baby Yoda or take his midichlorians to create other Force-sensitive beings. But it looks pretty exciting, and hopefully we will get that teaser trailer soon. So sorry that it leaked Disney, but, sometimes it be that way. You know what was absent, though? And I'm starting to wonder if Rangers of the Republic, what is that even called? Yeah, Rangers of the New Republic. I wonder if that's kind of dead upon arrival. Because that was supposed to be from, all the murmurings. It was supposed to be the Cara Dune spinoff. And then all the stuff with Gina Carano happened. And then essentially it seems like it's gone kind of dormant. So I wonder if they are going to be continuing this within the Mandalorian timeline or doing something different, because there was not a peep about Rangers of the New Republic during this Lucasfilm showcase. And as the final bit of news, if you watched my review talk through of the Vanity Fair issue with Star Wars, I call it the State of Star Wars 2022, they hinted at a new Star Wars series being put together by Jon Watts, director of, Spider-Man, all the Spider-Man movies, the new ones, and yada, yada, yada. But they didn't have a title for it, but they did just give us a general, hey, it's going to be about kids, and it's kind of, a throwback to the 80s Amblin films. And I was like, okay. We have confirmation now of a title. It is called Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and most notably, the series will star Jude Law, which I was losing my mind because I really, really love Jude Law. I mean, all of his roles, he's been in acting for so long now, but I particularly loved him in The Holiday, and I loved him in Sherlock Holmes as Watson. And I mean, this man just now is soaking up all of the fandom. I mean, he was Jan Rog in Captain Marvel, so he's in the MCU. He's Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts series, so he's part of the Wizarding World, and now he's part of Star Wars. I mean, who could turn it down? I mean, seriously. So no information about his character just yet, who he'll be, what he'll do, but considering, it'll be kind of a show that I'm sure will kind of be like Stranger Things, that's the only way I can put it. I could see him being maybe the leader of these group of kids, and because this is also from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni commented saying, Jon Watts and Chris Ford's upcoming live-action series stars kids, but it is as much for kids as the Clone Wars. So, basically it's like Clone Wars is a cartoon, so you think cartoons are for kids, but obviously adults watch it and love it. So, this is going to be apparently going to have kids starring in the lead, but just like Stranger Things, doesn't mean that it's a kids show. So I think obviously it'll be for everyone to enjoy. I'm super duper excited to see, they're forming a skeleton crew. What is the skeleton crew going to be about? What are they fighting? I think the biggest thing here is they're probably going to be part of the, this might take place in the era of the Empire, just kind of like all the other shows so far. And, that leads them to starting a small rebellion against the Empire. Curiously enough, though, they could put this in the era of the First Order. I mean, it would essentially be the same thing, Empire, First Order, but just to have a little variety, just, to spice things up. But I would bet money it's going to take place during the Empire era. I really don't think we would see anything with the prequels or anything like that, because there's really nothing Well, yeah, they could be rebelling in the war against the Separatists and all that stuff. So it's possible, but it seems like Lucasfilm really wants to focus on the Empire era right now, so that just might be what we get. So that was the biggest news coming out of the Lucasfilm showcase at Star Wars Celebration 2022. There were some other announcements, like, you know, a little bit of Indiana Jones 5, a little bit of Willow, but I'm here more so for the Star Wars stuff. So Star Wars Celebration will be running today, May 26th, Thursday, through Sunday, May 29th. So there'll still be a lot of good Star Wars goodness. Let me know, though, what was your favorite thing announced today at Star Wars Celebration. I'm excited to know. I'm excited to follow along. And as well, guys, gosh, wait, there was no stuff about any of the upcoming movies. So I'm wondering if they will have time for that later, or what's the state of movies? Give us an update. In my State of Star Wars video, which I think you guys should check out below, they do talk about a little bit about what's going on in the movieverse for Star Wars. So go check out that video. And be sure to subscribe for more, because we'll be reviewing Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is dropping basically now. So see you guys later. Bye.